happening to watch this either in the next few minutes or later on. I'm kind of stealth camping right now myself, and it's been just kind of raining on and off, and I'm just stuck at stealth camp. And I'm thinking, well, what can I'm like, I can make a video. I can do a little bit of a project. So what I decided to do is to show how to set up a freestanding tarp in case there isn't any trees to attach anything to, and you're just kind of, or it could even be used in a backyard if you got family that's camping, that's coming over, and you got a big family reunion or something, and you want somebody to camp out in the backyard or in a part of your property. This could actually work really good. So here we go. I'm going to go through how I go about doing it. One, I just find a cut. Here's how I started it. I previously tied this just so I could shorten the video down a little bit. And as you can see, it's just two branches. Look at how crooked. I deliberately got junky looking ones too to show it doesn't have to be fancy at all. And see that one? How it's like an X. And I got it tied off right here at about the height, the approximate height that I'm thinking I want to set the tarp up. And then I got this little sort of like tripod deal, and I kind of, as you can see, leaned it into it. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie these things together, and then I'm going to try to estimate it, eyeball it to about this height. And then I'm going to take a runner beam, this thing here that I cut, and run it from there to there, and then I'm going to anchor it. I'm going to drape the tarp over it and then anchor it with these logs. Just run a rope from the, corners of the tarp to the logs, and then that'll be an anchor. And then you can have, a tarp set up without having it attached to a tree and, running between two trees and everything like that. It could be in the desert, it could be in a backyard or whatever. It's a real handy setup. So here we go. Pretty sure you'll be able to see. Okay. I'm gonna eyeball it up with this. That now. All right. Now got a runner beam. Now, if you're stealth camping and you're on somebody else's property, and let's say you cut a fresh branch, you don't want people to know you were there. And when you cut, it looks fresh for a while. So what I'm doing, dig into the dirt, grab some dirt and rub it on that. Rub it on like the trunk, that, and until it looks like this. And then if somebody walks by, it looks like it's been cut a long time ago. You see what I'm saying? Stealth. Yeah, that's right. Okay. just tie the corners off and tie it to an anchor. I'm going to grab this log and lay it down as the anchor, and then I'm just going to tie the tree to it. Now, if you were going to do this at home, because if you had families coming over, hey Chris, nice to see you, my friend. If you're like had a little property and you're going to have a family reunion and you're going to have people come over, you could do this. You could anchor it with 10-pound weights if you got a weight set, or even like cinder blocks. You know, it doesn't have to be big, ugly, logs. This is just if you're in the woods stealth camping. It just shows you how accessible this is. I probably slapped this thing together in just about 20 minutes. I was looking around the area, and so anyways, I'm going to start tying this down, anchoring the tarp off. Almost done. One more anchor. All right, here we go. Where did I put that? Okay. Ah, here we are underneath the Now look at how fast I set that up. Now you can take some pine boughs or some um, like ferns, and you can lay that, make a bed out of it, or you could make this up just a little higher, and a little bit better, and it can be used as a, you can put your tent under it. And as you can see, it's all supported. It's self-supported. Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah, I've used this. It could be done a little better. That was like, you could pull it a little tighter. If I had another eye hole here, I would probably set something up there to where you could put a stick in the ground, and then you can tie this to the stick, and then tie the stick down to an anchor, and that'll kind of keep it upright, and you can keep this, make this thing like a peak. But I don't have any eye holes there. Yeah, this is just this is a beater, a junk tarp of mine. And anyways, what else? A couple things to show. Okay, here's something that I recommend highly if you're going to be stealth camping, is get a cheap mirror like this and make sure you can tie a rope to it. The reason is because yeah, it's a cool setup. You can set it up in the backyard too. You don't even have to be a stealth camper. Sometimes family comes over and there just ain't enough room. Some people live on a farm or something, and then out in the country, and they feel comfortable with putting people out in the backyard. You could set this up for them and put a little pup tent underneath it if it's going to be rainy and slushy for about a week, and it's just bad weather. This is something that would be good for that. But so it doesn't have to be just for stealth camping. But yeah, it works good for stealth camping though, that's for sure. Because there's a lot of times you find yourself in a situation you just ain't got trees to tie, things off to and stuff, and you can't anchor anything in right without, the right trees and everything just so perfect, doesn't line up. So you're like, well, what do I do? Or what if somebody was out in a more desert area, they wanted to get out of the sun and stuff, and they wanted to, the dew of the night, if you're in the desert, this will set up. You could find stuff. I wouldn't want to be in the desert without a tent, but, hey, if you are, this is better than nothing. Because, in the deserts, you got all that moisture coming down on you at night. It's pretty bad. You wake up in the, it goes from like 100 degrees in the night till really pretty chilly, at night. And then all that moisture and stuff settles on you and be soaking wet, like your sleeping bag will be wet. But if you had something like this, at least you can get out from under it. But what I wanted to really go to next is get yourself a mirror for stealth camping and stuff. I don't know if you got ticks in Australia, but we got them here in the U.S., especially in like the east. And if you stealth camp, you're going to get ticks. Or maybe who knows what kind of bug, But this here, you put it at the right height to where you got the problem, and you kind of attach it to like a tree limb. And then get yourself a little bag like this, and I put this sucker together, and it's got little things in it that I find that you need, like nail clippers, a little pocket knife, and nice pair of scissors, real small, tough and small. Now look at this. Get yourself that mirror if you get a tick in you and it's in your under armpit or someplace, hang this thing up on a tree, and then you can look and you can kind of pick it out. You see what I mean? So these things are real important for stealth camping. What else? I remember I told you when you cut a tree, make sure you take a little bit of, see what I'm doing with this dirt? Just take a little dirt and smudge it around on the cut that you just made. So if somebody's pretty sharp and they're walking their property and then they notice, hey, somebody's been cutting here, you know what I mean? You want to make sure you cover that up. What else? Anything else? Okay. Something else that's really important is when it comes to real stealth camping, that word stealth is, it's something, okay? So I'm technically not really stealth camping in a way because I'm carrying an iPhone, and this iPhone can be traced. If you go on Google Earth to look for something in your area, you'll see there's a little blue dot with your location on it. So if you're in a stealth camp like I am right now, this thing is pinging off of like a cell phone tower. And if so, I technically understand if the government kind of wanted to find me, they could just get into my phone and find where the thing is pinging from. Even if I wasn't using the phone, even the phone, if the phone was shut down, this phone will reveal my location, even if it's in a little tiny bit of woods, stealth camping somewhere. It'll go boink, and then the government knows where I am. Okay? So, if you want to eliminate that problem, the best thing you can do, get yourself a potato chip bag. Yeah. And then make sure you got like a sandwich bag, like a little Glad sandwich bag, so the oil and stuff don't get onto your phone. Of course, put the phone in the sandwich bag. That protects it from the oil and the salt that might be left in the bag. But then you put that in the um, potato chip bag before you go into your stealth camp. I mean, if you really want to be stealth, 100% airtight, either don't have a cell phone at all, or if you have a cell phone, that's the way to go. And to test this, put a cell phone in one of these potato chip bags. Just like I say, remember, put it in a sandwich bag first, because there's oils and, you know, salt and stuff. You don't want to ruin your phone. But you put that sucker in there and you try to call that phone and it won't get through the bag. So the government can't trace you. That's real stealth camping. That's like stealth camping up and up, you know, up and up the notch, or taking it up a notch, I mean. So here we go. This is a cool little example. Look at how fast I slapped this thing together. It took me oh, the one thing you got to really have though, look at what I put together here. This is my own personal thing. And I carry it in this little book bag. So I carry a little book bag on the big bag, and when I find a stealth camp, I stash the big bag, and then I take things that are really important, and this being one of them, and I build up this little book bag, and that's what I walk around town with. Okay? So when I walk around town, I got the little book bag, and I built this thing. This carries a saw, and that's how I was able to get this deal. Now, if you notice real close, you see that? You can see that I had to saw everything off. You want to smooth this out. If you don't, you're going to get holes all in this thing. So, you know, that's the other little trick. All right, so I guess that's probably about it for the day. Yeah, other than that, I'm still hanging out in my stealth camp, and it's just going to be kind of a soggy and wet and rainy, you know, next two days, I think, here. We've got a lot of rain this year, and as much as I kind of hate going through it, we do need it, because we in Pennsylvania has been in a drought for about 4 or 5 years, really. And it's just barely starting to come out of it because we've had a lot of rain the last several months. But let me go ahead and show you the anchors I used. Um, that's what my phone was under when I was filming. So there it is. I just run it from there. Let me see. And I just tie it to an anchor. Now, if you're doing this in your home backyard, if you're somebody, you know, you can use a 10-pound weight from a weight set, or even a cinder block, or like one of those half cinder block things. It's got to be about 10 or 15 pounds, and that should create enough tension. See what I'm saying? Keep that upright. And there it is. It's just regular old logs that I found laying around. Nice anchor. Look at that, huh? And there it is. Like, here's the construction. You got this V shape right here, and then you got this X, and you see how I tied it? You got to tie it at the X at the level of height that you want, and you got to kind of slightly lean it back a little bit to lay in the cradle of this, the tripod. And there you go. See, this definitely could be tightened up a little bit. Like, just take this, you don't need to tighten it. There it is. Wham. Look at that. See how easy that was? I think that you saw it. I just moved it back a little bit. And there. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I tightened it up. And then there's the other one. So, and here is the other side. And remember, here's an example. Let's say I just cut a tree and I'm on somebody's property stealth camping. Take this little mud right here. And you see that little spot right here? It looks fresh. Anybody, don't have to be a genius to say, hey man, somebody's out here. Somebody's been messing with my property. Go like that. See what I'm doing? Bam, instant 10 years old. All right, man. There we are. And remember, put yourself together a kit. Here's what I recommend. A little pair of metal scissors that ain't gonna break on you. A nice little pocket knife. A pair of tweezers. And definitely a pair of nail clippers. I even got one of these little measuring things if I needed it. And have a saw. I built this with cardboard, and look at, I toughened it up with tape. In here, I have a little steak knife and a spoon. They come in so handy. I'm walking around with this bag, and I'm like, I sure am glad I got my you know, get an orange or something like that. You know, I do dumpster diving or something like that. In, you know, certain dumpsters, they got oranges. You know, when you dumpster dive for fruit, if you don't have a place to stay, you want to make sure you get fruit with that have wrappers of their own, like oranges. Unless you can make sure to wash them, because there could be E. coli on your, you know, you got to watch out for that stuff. But, you know, if they got a good wrapper on them, like an orange or a grapefruit or something like that, you're good. You know, I just had a whole bag of, you know, mandarins, and I had a couple of big, I don't know what else. Oh, I had a couple of bags of avocado I got out of the dumpster not too long ago, a couple days back. Well, supplement that canned food junk, you know what I'm saying? Well, here we are from stealth camp number 2, the showroom model of the yeah, I'm glad to see you're on, Chris. And anybody, if you see Chris's comment, give him a thumbs up, man. Chris is one good guy. All right, Chris, I was thinking of you mainly when I made this video. I was thinking, you told me that you wanted to go out and stealth camp, and so there you go. Remember that point though about the ticks, you know? A mirror. Where did I put that thing? I don't know what I put it. Oh, here we are. The mirror with the rope and the tweezers, you know? Throw yourself together that little bag, and make sure these saws are real important. Without one of these, it's going to be really hard to stealth camp. You know? And get yourself one of those gloves that are tough enough to touch picker bushes, because when you stealth camp, you will, yeah, ticks. When you stealth camp, you'll have to trail in to the woods, and a lot of times you'll be having to grab a hold of pickery kind of bushes. So make sure you have one of those a tough pair of gloves. If you're right-handed, get a left-handed glove so that you can grab a hold of it and hold it and do the cutting. Okay, that glove on your hand makes all the difference in the world when you're stealth camping and you got to trail in somewhere. Yeah, and make sure your trail is a zigzag this way, not straight in, because then somebody walking by, they see it. So you know, angle it in and then kind of angle it off a little bit. Then it's hard to see, it's harder to notice. see? Well, that's some pretty good tips on stealth camping. I hope I came through good. I hope it wasn't breaking up because I noticed these live videos, gosh, they break up terribly. Great, yeah. Because there's a little more to it than I've been really saying, you know. I said to myself, gosh, you know, I could probably give a few more tips. So that's some pretty good tips. That's some real good secrets there. It is easy to it's easy to learn and know. It's no big deal, but it's so darn easy to overlook that simple stuff. It really is. And you know, preparing and thinking it about it ahead of time. And you know what? You can even you ever seen one of those rain ponchos that you can kind of unsnap and flatten out like a little bit? You can actually make, you know, use just a rain poncho and get out of the rain. And you can make, as long as it's got those little eye holes and you can tie it off, you could actually make it with one of those rain ponchos. You know, hey, Ether, that's a pretty cool name. So yeah, there we go. I think I'm gonna keep the video short so I can save my battery, and also so people will watch it. You know, if it's too long, you know, who the heck wants to watch some live video? But I will put this video uh, really soon. It takes like 24 hours for some reason for these live videos to be fully accessible. I don't know why, but I I can put it directly to Noah Road's Best of Noah Road Stealth Camping playlist. So I got some Noah Road playlist. Yeah, I got a bunch of movies and spiritual stuff and so forth. Um, but I also got movies, playlists that's specific to the channel. So, you know, I got walkthroughs with Noah Road, drives with my friend, and best of Noah Road stealth camping favorites, I think it's called. And that's what I will put this on, and all like the stealth camping advice live video feeds. And like I say, the reason I can't make the videos like I used to make them is because my iCloud is just messed up, and this is the only thing I have to work with is the live format. So unfortunately, I post every now and then, you know. Every now and then it'll let me eke out a 3 minute or a 2 minute, but pretty much it keeps telling me that, you know, the um, iCloud is full, and it's an old phone. It's 5 years old, and I'm due for a new one. Well, anyways, with all that said, you know, anybody that's interested, you go to my Noah Road Stealth Camping, wait, Best of Noah Road Stealth Camping favorites, and then because I'm just starting to put these on there, you'll have to scroll to the bottom to get to them to see the new ones. All right. With that said, I wish you well, especially you, friend, Chris Bandit. God bless you, and anyone else who's watching. And yeah, take care, mate. All right. Bye bye now. Noah Road over and out for now.